All right, Heather. A through Z.
H.
H. Good. So, one of these stars of Homicide, Life on the Streets, Andre Braugher, he died today. About an hour and a half ago is when that was announced. And that really sucks. Because I loved him on Homicide, and anybody that loves Detective Munch should love him, because that's where Detective Munch originally originated on. And, you know, and more famously, people probably know him as Captain Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
And he passed away, and that makes me really sad, because he's really fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I'm really bummed out about that. He was great. I mean, I think Captain Holt is one of the best TV characters ever. Like, he was just so well done, and it's because of Andre Braugher's like delivery of him. So yeah, that's really sad. He was also on wasn't he like a Law and Order SVU, like a defense attorney or something, I think.
Yes, he plays an attorney on SVU, but he also plays his character from Homicide on an episode of Law and Order.
Oh,
so he
okay.
actually appears in Law and Order as his Homicide character, and he appears in, I think, he might have appeared in an early episode of SVU in the same way. But I know for a fact he's on the original Law and Order as his character from Homicide, and because it was like a crossover episode thing.
Yeah.
And yes, and he plays a defense attorney in SVU a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's also in The Good Lawyer or The Good Something, whatever. Maybe The Good Wife. Maybe, but The Good Lawyer. Isn't The Good Lawyer a spinoff of The Good Wife?
Oh,
is it The Good Lawyer? I don't know. It's all that shit. Who knows, really? It's impossible to know.
There's no way to find out.
None. But yeah, super sad that man died.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And as far as I know, no problems. That's always a plus too. Except it's
you
not
mean
really
like him
a plus.
being an unproblematic person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say that, like, that's not necessarily a good thing, because then that means we lost a good one. And that sucks a little more. Why can't we lose some of these shitty ones? Some of these, like, shitty people.
Like Kissinger?
Good news, guys. Henry Kissinger is still dead. It's been a couple of weeks of awesome. Like, I know a lot of bad shit's happening in the world right now, but a little less bad shit's happening because Kissinger can't commit more war crimes. So it's a small victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. I mean, on some more positive news, you know, your boys Tennessee Titans beat the fucking Miami Dolphins. Fuck those assholes. Not really. I've got nothing but respect for the Miami Dolphins, and that's mainly because my family is a Dolphins family. I come from a Miami Dolphins family, and I was weirdly, my dad's actually up here right now. It's the first time I've gotten to watch a Dolphins Titans game with my dad in over a decade. And, you know, going up against a world beater, potential 1 seed Miami Dolphins playing at home, being one of 2 teams that haven't lost at home this season, tied with Jastin's Dallas Cowboys, and my lowly Tennessee Titans dragging up the ass into the fucking NFL with their shittery. Haven't won a road game in damn near a season and a half. And somehow we fucking did it.
That was a crazy ass game. I don't know how you did it either. Well, actually, I know a little bit. Man, when Tyreek went out, Tua didn't look the same. I will say that. He looked a little uncomfortable out there.
That whole offense went mediocre real fast when Tyreek Hill's out.
Yeah. So some of these people that have been like shouting on the mountain that Tyreek Hill should be the MVP, this kind of showed why.
He got my vote last night.
That. This kind of shows why some people believe that, because, man, they did not look the same.
They did not score an offensive touchdown for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah. It didn't even look like this supercharged, super offense, super speed, you can't beat us anywhere, Miami Dolphins. Like, it didn't even look like that without him out there. Like, the entire identity just changed. But hey, it is what it is. You either gotta adapt, and I mean, Will Levis, I know he ain't no Tua, but he sure knew how to adapt and make something happen.
Hey, he made some plays.
Yep. He made some plays, and when you make plays, you win games. I mean, that's as simple as that.
The weird thing is he did what the Miami Dolphins offense could not do. He went down the field multiple times and scored.
Yes, he did.
The Dolphins scored their 2 offensive touchdowns off a off a muffed punt and off a bad pitch, like a bad backwards pass, both on the Tennessee side of the fucking field.
Yep. And he had to score twice in 1 quarter. He only had a quarter to do it.
He had to score twice in 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's right. I forgot how tight that window was.
It wasn't even a quarter. Minutes. It was 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was 3 minutes in the 4th quarter, and he had to do it twice, and he somehow did it. And we couldn't get the Dolphins to get down there once, just to kick a field goal, put it out of reach, And couldn't even do that.
And it was also very nice that the final play that the Dolphins had was a sack. That made me feel a little good, too.
And honestly, whenever they did get that muffed snap or whatever, and then they ran it back for a touchdown, and the defense did the Remember the Titans dance in the end zone, I kind of felt like, oh, God, I don't think this is going to go well. You don't do the Remember the Titans dance to the Titans, man.
And the best thing about it,
there's just some things you just don't do. And I was like, man, I was in another chat, and I was like, man, they're trolling a little too hard, man. It's a little too early for all this trolling like this. I mean, that's some other level trolling, and it came back to bite them, bit them in the ass.
And the most ironic thing is, too, is if you're actually following me on social media, I do a thing after every single Titans game, and I have done so for like the last 6 or 7 years. If the Titans win, I always declare that the other team did not remember the Titans. And if the Titans lose, I declare that that team did remember the Titans. And I think that even adds a little bit more like irony to the situation that they're doing the remember the Titans dance. Like they done remembered. But at the end of that game, I weirdly still got to pronounce that they did not, in fact, remember the Titans.
That's true. That's true. So
it was even more insulting because it was the Miami Dolphins, and I'm sitting there with my Miami Dolphins family while the fucking Dolphins are on the field doing the Remember the Titans dance. And in the end, I was the only person in that house that was happy because they did not remember them.
They did not. So, hey, from one team that beat the 1 seed to another, congrats, sir.
Thank you. I'm not going to lie, Jastin. I was surprised as fuck that Dallas went out there and stomped the Eagles.
Yeah, I didn't expect a stomping. I thought maybe they could win because I felt like the Eagles are reeling a bit because of their schedule. I'm not going to sit here and act like they haven't had a gauntlet of a schedule the Eagles have. But I thought it would be more competitive than that. And it just, not an offensive touchdown. Damn. Yeah, I was like, dang.
What sucks though is the 49ers are getting hot again. They had that
man,
lull. They had that lull in the middle of the season for those 2 games, and now they just a smoke show again.
Yep. And their schedule isn't too bad on the back end, and the Eagles' schedule gets easier too. Dallas' schedule gets hard, so I don't know where it's all going to be by the time we get to the end, but God, man, the 49ers just look unbeatable at times. Like, I'm just like, I mean, unless something happens to someone, like, barring injuries or something like that, I just don't know. And that's how they got bounced last year was
Purdy got hurt.
Purdy got hurt. But man, barring injuries or people missing, how you going to beat them? I haven't seen, they haven't been beat when they are whole. Nobody is beating them. Nobody.
I mean, the games,
when everybody is out there.
The 2 games they lost this or like earlier this season, like one was Purdy got concussed. The NFL missed it. Purdy got concussed.
Yeah,
and Debo
wasn't out there.
And then Debo went out. Yeah, like no Debo and Purdy got concussed. And played the rest of the game and played the next game when he probably shouldn't have either.
Yeah.
But now it looks like he got his head right.
Mm-hmm. So.
And I made one of my fantasy playoffs. I had to win. I had to win to get in. But like if I won, I was in. I jumped from 7th place to 5th in seeding just from that win.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm the 3rd highest scoring team in the league too. So, and my average points per game has been going up towards the back end of the season because I made some big trades. I got Christian McCaffrey, and I had gotten A-Chain from the Dolphins.
Wow.
I had got him in a trade earlier in the season, and he got hurt the game after I got him.
Oh.
So he's now healthy, and I have Christian McCaffrey also, and Derrick Henry.
Oh, God. Well.
You want to know who my quarterback is, Jastin?
Who?
Josh Allen.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I could see why you made it.
Know who my wide receiver 1 is? You'll like this. You'll like this one.
Don't say CeeDee Lamb.
It's CeeDee Lamb. You know who my wide receiver 2 is? I'm legitimately asking because I don't have one. All my other wide receivers suck so bad. I've got Adam Thielen, who was great at the beginning of the season, but now sucks.
Yeah.
I've got Garrett Wilson that can put one good game every 5 games.
Yep.
I've got Dotson from the Commanders. He has one good game a season.
Yep.
I mean, I've got no one else, but, so far I'm fine. You'll like my tight end?
Who you got?
Got
Travis.
Huh? I got your boy, Jastin. I got Ferguson.
Oh, okay. Fergie.
Yeah.
He is Fergalicious.
Yeah. I won't go into the defense because this is actually a full team, so I've got a bunch of defensive players, but
okay.
But yeah. I'm weirdly stacked to just make a run. And this is like I've got no first round picks for the next 3 years because of this shit.
Yeah.
I've got no first or seconds for the next 2. I've got nothing. This really.
What is your?
This was my LA Rams. I'm sacrificing everything for this season.
I was about to say, like, what is the team name? OP? Like,
no, this is just Chicago's own Whataburger. Yeah, but this I'm giving up everything. I get $500 if I win, though. So I'm literally sacrificing the field just to get $500, and then I may or may not even stay in this league next year. I'll let somebody will inherit my team because it's a dynasty league. We keep our team. You'll have to drop people, but you'll keep the team. So it's a stacked team. We'll see, though.
Yeah. $500 is not bad. That'll get you a cheeseburger or two.
Give me a couple 2-tree cheeseburgers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get you 2 or 3 cheeseburgers with that.
I can go get some fancy Chicago cheeseburgers for that kind of money.
There's a Chicago fancy cheeseburger that I don't know about.
Yeah, that's the place we tried to go, Chauvel's.
That's right. Yeah, we just didn't get up there.
We weren't able to go to Chauvel because they had a 4-hour wait on a Monday. But hey, we went to that Haymarket place. That's pretty good.
Well, we're gonna have to try them again. They don't do you can't Uber eat that. You can't Uber eat.
Not from the city.
Charbonnet burgers or whatever it's called.
You know what we did get here, Jastin? We got the first Cosmics.
Oh, okay.
Which is that McDonald's spinoff restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
The first one in the world opened up in Romeoville. Not that far from me. So, gonna have to go try that, Jastin. They got all these coffees and teas and slushies. All this stuff, man.
Yeah. I'll have to get on that.
And all day McMuffins.
Man. Do you be on McMuffins like you do bagels?
I typically only eat 2.
Or just 2?
Just 2. But I will say this, no matter what, if I do get McDonald's breakfast, I get a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin no matter what. That is one of my breakfast sandwiches every time. Because that thing is just perfect deliciousness.
I kind of like that McGriddle.
See, I go back and forth between a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle or a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. But I always get with one of those two, sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin.
Yeah.
But I get it with the McGriddle. Like I said, I like that bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle. It's nice.
Yeah. It'd be hitting. It'd be hitting sometimes, man. It'd be hitting like Creed 3. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing will hit. Speaking of burgers, I mean, I'm going back to burgers, but I saw that Wendy's was advertising a pretzel bun baconator.
Yeah, the pump
baconator.
baconator.
I don't know. That's a lot of my favorite things together.
I had one.
Sounds like I would love that.
I had one about 2 weeks ago.
Is it as awesome as it sounds? Like just bacon, meat, bacon, and pretzel?
Yeah.
Bun?
Yeah.
You don't sound too excited.
I'm not huge about the Baconator.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's the Baconator sauce. I don't really dig that. Because it's like a ketchup-based sauce that I don't love. But it's still good. I ate it. I ate all of it real quick.
See, I just see meat and bacon, a bunch of bacon and meat, and I just go, That's positive. That just means I want it, you know.
Which is really funny because I've never heard you make that noise about Burger King.
Oh, well, come on.
You knew it was coming. You had to know.
I drove by there the other day.
I know. You drive by there every day, Jastin.
It looks nice. It looks clean, you know.
What's the inside look like?
From the outside, it looked...
No. What's it look like on the inside? Like when you open the door and step in, what's it look like? I mean, all right, let me be fair, Jastin.
You rattled my brain.
Let me be fair, Jastin.
To be determined?
Okay, how clean is the drive-through window when you were up next to it? You might have gone through drive-through. I want to be fair to you. You might not have gone inside. You might have just gone through drive-through. How clean was that drive-through window?
To be determined at a later date is the best I can give you at this time. But
just say you're never going to go there. Just say it, Jastin. Just say you're never actually going to order food from that Burger King. I think it is more likely that you will accidentally get Burger King in some town you are wrestling in before you actually go to that Burger King you drive by every day.
You could be right about that. But it's the thought that counts. You know, it's that time of year where the thoughts count. So when I drive by there and throw my little thoughts at it, it should count for something, you know.
Counts for nothing.
Well, Child Heather still likes Burger King.
Child Heather's dead.
All that's left is adult Heather.
Adult Heather killed Child Heather.
That's really morbid.
Yet weirdly true.
On a philosophical level, you know, you got to think about that.
Just like adult Jastin killed kid Jastin.
Yeah. Kid Jastin had to not exist anymore for adult Jastin to exist now.
I think all kid versions go to heaven, kind of like all dogs.
Mine didn't.
Just that our kids.
Don't wish that shit on me. Don't put that juju on me. Why would you why would you say something so cruel?
They all go. You can't. I don't make the rules.
No, you remember in All Dogs Go to Heaven? Some dogs went to dog hell.
That's true, but in the end, they all.
Nah, fuck you. My kid soul's in hell. Damn it! How dare you?
I don't make the rules, man.
And my kid's soul broke it. That's why it's in hell.
Why can't he just be in heaven but thinking about that? Like he could be like,
wouldn't that doom it to
going,
hell anyway?
I'm such a hellion.
If you're in hell, if you're in heaven dreaming about being in heaven, wouldn't that be a hell-worthy trespass?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, he's in heaven in his little bed going, oh, I'm a hellion in heaven. I mean, he could be there doing that because I don't make the rules.
You know what my kid's soul did?
All go.
It ran up to Jesus and kicked him in the shin. And then
it wouldn't really hurt. He would go, ow, and he'd go, oh, right, that's right. We're in heaven. I'm invincible. So, oh, look at this little kid. Oh, he's such a troublemaker.
And then I flipped him off and he
they all go to heaven because I don't make the rules.
My kid's soul is in hell where it belongs.
Okay, we're going to have to agree to disagree on
Man, just let my kid's soul go to hell, Jastin. Shit. Like, why you got to be all rude about this shit? Like, I know I was making fun of you with Burger King and shit, but like you weirdly got personal with it.
Sterling, they all go. It doesn't say some go. The title is they all go to heaven.
What title? Title of what?
The movie.
The movie's All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Kids, dogs, same difference.
Nah, fuck you. I've got a cat soul. My shit's in hell. Fuck you.
I've got a cat soul.
A cat soul? What is that?
Well, you were talking about kids and dog souls being one and the same. I mean, I'm just saying, if my soul is anything like an animal, it's like a cat.
I mean, cat, dog, alligator, ant, ostrich. They all go.
No,
Sterling. I
you
don't
can't
make
keep
the
adding
rules.
animals to this title. The title strictly and specifically only states dogs. And with that, that is a lie. Because in the movie, we specifically see a dog go to hell.
I actually don't remember like hardly anything about that movie.
The only thing I remember is that there's a dog that goes to hell.
Yeah, there is a hell. And it's kind of the story of him getting redemption and blah, blah, blah. You know, you can't keep a good dog down. Roof, 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 roof.
I just feel like I remember being so sad when I was a kid.
It was sad. Charlie was
yeah.
cool, man. Charlie was a good dog.
The knowledge that you retain of these movies from your childhood, it's impressive.
I mean, Wikipedia specifically says there is a dog hell.
Well, then, are you calling the title a liar?
Yes, I am, in fact. Thank you. Movie says it. That settles it.
Man, you just have to be right. This is adult Sterling talking, but child Sterling would be cool with the heaven.
You know,
just be
wouldn't?
like, he wouldn't be all like, yeah.
If you ever
yeah.
wanted to see a Sterling that was even more of a cat soul, just go look at fucking little kid Sterling. I've softened in my old age. Little kid Sterling didn't fuck around with that shit.
So it was pretty. So his kid Sterling was pretty hardcore, kind of like how Child Heather's like been everywhere and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Love Burger King. All right, we need to start this movie because there's so much to say.
yeah, probably should.
Transition.
Somebody will listen to me.
Nobody knows anything but you.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Come on.
Cinema Slayers.
Hey, Cinefans, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Slayers podcast. I'm Sterling, and as always, I'm joined by Heather and Jastin. And tonight we're going to talk about what we like, didn't like, and everything in between with the new movie, Poor Things. We will be going spoiler-free recommendations and scores. I'm sorry, I can't keep it up. Jastin, I was just fucking with you again.
Man, I was about to go, man, what?
The look on your face.
What did I miss in the chat this time? When did we change it this time?
If you
The
need
look on your
reference to
face.
this, just go listen to the first section or the first part of last week's Silent Night episode. No, in all actuality, we are going to talk about what we like, didn't like, and everything in between with the new Martin Scorsese movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. We will go spoiler-free recommendations and scores and then into a more spoiler-centric section. And with all that, I do also have to tell you, Jastin, Heather's the one that texted me to suggest we do that.
Child Heather just came out for a second. I'm sorry. It was just too
Man.
good not to pass up because your face was like you were about to, I don't know, you were not happy.
I was about to retire. Like, maybe I just can't do this anymore. I'm just not, I'm no good at this anymore.
We
I can't
pushed
watch
you
the
to your
right
edge.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
It was like, well, it's going to be another one. But next week's Killers of the Flower Moon. But
Yeah.
no, I just had to. And with all that, because I think I might have a unique thing to say, I am going to go first. When it comes to Killers of the Flower Moon, all I have to say, to start this off with, is Mr. Scorsese, Mr. Martin Scorsese. You were once known as an iconic director. You were once known as a legend in this industry. And I had felt that you lost your way when it came to The Irishman. that 3.5 hour long monstrosity, that CGI amalgamation of just of abomination bullshit.
Come on, man. He didn't look that bad.
Jastin, he's a fucking liar. Anyway. And then you want to follow that up with another 3.5 hour fucking movie. And I just want to tell you, Mr. Scorsese, I hate you. I do. I truly hate you from the bottom of my soul. Because I wanted to fucking hate this movie. I wanted to. This movie's really fucking good, though. This movie is really fucking good. This movie is really fucking good.
Jastin's face lit up at you saying this positive thing. I just want to do a play-by-play of Jastin's face this episode because it's on point today, guys.
There are problems with this movie. You could have shaved some things out and saved some time, but not much. And that's where I'll give him credit. Not much. I think maybe if I made the cuts I'd want to make, I could get this down to just a super brisk 3 hours and 15 minutes. And that's about it. There is not a lot to cut out of this movie that I feel like wouldn't hurt the movie. And fuck you for doing that. I wanted to be able to slash and dice this movie and go, man, we could have gotten in and out in an hour 20. You couldn't. This movie is appropriately lengthed. And I hate that. I really enjoyed watching this movie. It is an incredibly well-crafted movie. For a 3.5 hour long movie, the pacing is surprisingly good. The acting is top-notch. The cinematography is just damn near perfect. They do lots of scenes in this movie where they change the aspect ratio to look almost like a film cell, and it's in black and white. But it still has a 4K quality picture. And I loved every one of those. Because it gave an old-timey feel, but with modern day just detail and beauty. I am so fucking mad that I really don't have too much negative to say about this movie. It's not perfect, but fuck, it's pretty close. It's not my favorite movie of the year. And I don't even think it's the best movie of the year. But if someone were to say it was their favorite movie of the year, or if someone was to say it's the best movie of the year, I'm not really going to argue with them. Because I can see that. Now, to be fair, I am probably never going to watch this movie again. It is incredibly long. I felt like and I feel like I should have set just 4.5 hours aside through in a day, like 30 minutes on either side, or if I need to take restroom break or something, to truly watch this. You've got to take an afternoon to watch this, and that's my big negative with it. Not my big negative, but my big negative against probably rewatching it. I could watch 2 other movies in this amount of time. But I did not waste my time watching this. And as much as this pains me to say, I am glad I did. Jastin, what about you?
Wow. I mean, I got to follow that. Like, that was pretty shocking. I did not think that that's where you were going to land on this, but I'm glad you did, because you're in the right place. I mean, I agree. It is one of the best movies of the year. Yeah, it is. You can go ahead and give it its flowers. It is. I mean, I haven't seen all the movies, but shit, I just don't think there's going to be too many that come close to the craftsmanship of this, the acting in this, and this story is not one that I knew about. I wasn't aware of this. I wasn't aware of the Osage Nation and these indigenous people that were put on this land and just basically put there to just retire and be there. But then there was oil there and then they got rich and all that. I didn't know about this story. I did not. But a movie like this points towards progress. I'm glad that a story like this is getting awareness and being told, because watching this, it made me want to look at other things. I went to YouTube and watched something on like what actually happened with this, just to find out more about the story and see more, like, you know, find out more about the actual story, how much it parallels and stuff like that. And surprisingly, a lot of what was in this movie is exactly what happened. I mean, a lot of what I heard was exactly what happened. There were specific events that I was like, oh, damn, that was in the movie. That was in the movie. That was in the movie. So I was like, okay, Martin, okay. So I'm always down for stories like this to be told, because these are stories that we need to hear, you know, need to be told about and everything like that. Honestly, I don't really have a complaint about the film itself, but if I am going to complain about something, the only thing I wish is that I just will argue that the perspective that this is told from, which is the white men in the story, I'd love to see this tackled by indigenous people and told more from their perspective. That's the only thing that this is lacking. Like it's good. It's good storytelling. It's great. It has all of that stuff in it. But I think that this was Molly's story. It feels like it should have been more of Molly's story than it was Ernest Burkhardt's story. That's probably the only thing I wish was different about this. But I'm not going to lie to you. I understand who we're dealing with here. Martin Scorsese is all about his corrupt white men doing some horrible shit. I mean, that is what this man is so great at doing, and that is what this man has just done almost his entire life. So it's a big ask for him to even go this far to tell more of the indigenous people's story in this. And he does. I think he does a lot with them, though, with respect. He respects the other side. I just think that there needed to be more of it, you know, just, and when I got a little bit of it, I wanted more of it, but it didn't come because we had to, you know, because, you know, Leo Ernest story, you know, we have to tell that story, and we have to tell, and we have to see the corruption and the ins and outs of it and the manipulation and all of that kind of stuff, which still was very fascinating. But that might be the only thing stopping this movie from being perfect. There's another movie out there where we get the other perspective, and it's probably better than this. That's about the only critique I can add to this. But the movie on its face is great. Like it's excellent from start to finish. and I was just engaged right away because and honestly, by the time you get to the end, you go through all sorts of emotions. Sometimes you're just angry, sometimes you're just you feel terrible, and then at the end you're just like I'm not going to say I didn't know what to feel, but it's like you get to the end of it, and it's kind of one of those movies that just makes you wish things were different. Like, it just makes you wish, why couldn't people have made better choices? Why are we like this? It's just one of those questions that really makes you ask those things and wish that things were better for people. But alas, this is just another part of what America is and what in a lot of ways always has been. And that's unfortunate, but it's nice that a story like this was told, awareness is raised. And I think that Scorsese did this with not only a passion for what he likes to film, you know, with the corruption and all of that kind of stuff, and just his passion for filmmaking, but it did feel like he also felt something for what happened. And he had a passion for what it felt like. He felt like this was wrong, and he wanted to bring some light to this wrong. So I could feel all of that too. So yeah, it's a great movie. It's a meaningful movie. And I get what you're saying, Sterling, about the rewatchability of it. I guess all I would say is that, you know, if you're signing up for Martin Scorsese, he don't really do the short and sweets. You know, that's not really his wheelhouse. So I feel like if you signed up for this, you know what you're walking into. But yeah, this is a movie, not even just for the length, it's hard to get through twice. Just, I think the subject matter and putting yourself through this a second time is not easy, you know, just given what happened and that we are dealing with something historical that did happen. But yeah, but still, bravo. It was an amazing effort. And I mean, the last thing I'll say is that to the two actors that really, well, Robert De Niro killed it. Robert De Niro was great in this. Really, everybody was, but I wanted to focus at least and say one thing about Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone, which is, I think, the crux of the movie's acting. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio is weird with me because on the right day, I think you could argue he might be like the best male actor. On the right day, if you catch me on the right day and I'm looking at his resume, I might be able to say, you know, Leo, he might pound for pound be the best. But he has this thing where, like, he'll be in this movie and he'll do a great job, but there's always this other person that seems to overshadow him. Like,
I was
Gangs of New
talking
York
about that today. He gets overshadowed all the fucking time.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing that stops him. He's so great, but he's always in there with somebody who just is a bit better and overshadows him. And I don't know, maybe, we got to start looking at that the other way and going, maybe Leo elevates these people, but because he always winds up there again, and maybe not so much all these other people, right? But still, it happens. Like Gangs of New York, Daniel Day-Lewis got him in that. You know, Aviator, a lot of people thought Kate Blanchett got him in that. Catch Me If You Can, Tom Hanks got him in that. You know, like,
I
there's
think
movies.
Tom Hardy outshines him in The Revenant.
See, a lot of people thought that too. Like Tom Hardy got him.
I mean, half the cast outshines him in The Departed. Like,
yeah.
He gets outshined left and right in The Departed. The one movie he weirdly doesn't get outshined in is Django Unchained.
Yeah. Yeah.
where he's not the lead. Yeah, which is weird.
But
Yeah.
that's the side thing is he's not the lead in that. Like Heather said, he's
Yeah.
not the lead.
Yeah, he's not the lead in that, but he did kill it in that. But he's there a lot, so that's where you can make an argument, man. As often as he is there, it's hard not to crown him. And he was here in this movie. But I'll be damned if Lily Gladstone,
Outshined him like a motherfucker.
my God, Lily Gladstone. If Lily Gladstone isn't winning some statues, I am going to be mad. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what's
This
going to
is
piss
one
me
of
off with it?
those. What?
She's going to get nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
You're right.
That's going to piss me off.
And yep, and she'll win all of those, but she won't get that actress.
That's Best Actress, hands down. Like,
yeah,
quit that shit.
but but Lily Gladstone absolutely steals the show in this. She's wonderful, and maybe that's the reason why. There's a level of me that feels like maybe this should have been about Molly more than anybody. But yeah, she was excellent. Leo was excellent as always. So just wanted to say that last thing. Bravo to them.
Yeah, I was building that suspense. Heather, what about you?
I was like, maybe he's going to add to it first. I mean, and the interesting thing is too, I actually thought this was going to be sort of from Molly's perspective, because when the movie first starts, you hear her narrating and talking about just the people that have been killed when there's just, no investigation or anything to it. So that kind of set up the tone for me that this was going to be told from her perspective. And it wasn't necessarily. I mean, there were moments of it, but not really, like it wasn't fully from that perspective. And I think that I agree that would have been the thing to do to make this movie just a little even step above what it was, is make it from Molly's perspective on all of this, because especially to the observations that she would be having of all the white men in town, including her husband, like it just would have been interesting to see all of it. And if she had some kind of like bias about it because she knew them and, all these things, or if she was going to be more, forthcoming about the whole thing, like it just would have been interesting in a lot of ways to see that perspective. But yeah, I do agree that I think this movie is really good. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit like, oh, 3.5 hours, that's rough, that's long. Like, but it honestly does not feel that long because the pacing is pretty well done throughout this movie. I agree also about the cinematography of it. And, Scorsese definitely put an interesting like flair on this movie to just really kind of give it like a pop of, something like put like a freshness on this like very old story in a sense, if that makes sense. But I liked it. I really like how he did it. Even the music incorporated and like the old timey photos incorporated, and it just has like a new flair to it, which was really cool. The acting, absolutely top notch. Lily Gladstone is just, I hope she gets every role ever invented after this. Like, she's amazing. She was so great. I have not seen her in anything else before, but I have a feeling she's going to be in everything now, and I'm completely on board for that. So yeah, it's really a really well-told story. The stacked cast is great. Like, they use everybody that they get in this movie for the most part really well. I think there's some people that could have probably been used more or in a different way, but overall, I think, yeah, just everybody brought something to these characters that just, they were so good, all of them. And, yeah, I didn't find myself bored at any point with the story. I was very invested in what was going to happen and all of these things. And like, yeah, you kind of, they do really good at making you feel like this impending doom that's about to happen throughout the entire movie. You just never really know when it's going to happen. And it's kind of consistently happening in places throughout it anyway. But just the fact that because of that, you feel very much like, I don't know when the next thing's about to hit. And, you know, that kind of keeps you on your toes with this movie. And it's really good storytelling. It's a really great way to have this story unfold. So yeah, I think it's an excellent film. It's really great. Like everything that people are saying about this movie was spot on, you know, and there's a lot of times when I'm just like, if I feel like a movie is a little bit overhyped, it kind of turns me off to the movie sometimes. But this was not the case here. Like, it's just, there's not really a way around it. It's just a really great story and it's told really well in this movie. So yeah, I 100% agree with you guys. I think it's great. There's not a whole lot to really, and that is crazy to say, like, there's not a whole lot to say, you know, you could take out of this movie or that you would want to really change about this movie for the most part. And that's saying something considering it's 3.5 hours long. So I think that there's something to be said for that. Yeah, I definitely was a big fan of this movie.
Recommendations and scores?
Yeah.
Yep.
Recommendations and score.
Heather, keep it going.
Yeah, definitely recommend this. It is, this might be just recency bias with it, but like, it might be one of my favorite Scorsese films now. Like, I think it's great. I really do. And I think it's definitely worth watching. It's definitely worth hearing this story. It's worth seeing all of these incredible performances. There's no reason not to watch it. The only thing I would say is obviously give yourself 3.5 hours to do it. Like, just make sure that you have the time to invest in watching it, because if you give yourself that time, it's totally worth watching 100%. So yeah, I say give it a go. Just be prepared to, you know, set aside a decent amount of time for it. I'm going to give it 90 Lily Gladstone needs all of the awards out of 100.
Jastin, what about you?
Yeah, we're going to recommend. And it's just like we've said before, you know, this is a Scorsese film. So, and, you know, he's, like we said, he doesn't do short and sweet. So, you know, going into a movie like this, if you like his movies, you're probably, you're looking at least over 2.5. And I mean, and this is over that and then some. But I will say this, it's also easy to watch in parts. Like, the way, this is an interesting conversation to have, but
I can tell you right now where to split it.
Oh, really?
Split it into 2 movies. You go about an hour and an hour and 25-ish minutes in. And then you do the next 2 hours. Split it. Like, if you're going to split it, that's how I suggest. It becomes 2 movies like that. And when we get into spoilers, I'll talk about what scene that is.
Okay. Because I think that sometimes with movie series, anything like that, some things are easy to, like, you can take a break from it and come back. And I can't say that with every 3-hour movie, but I think this one is one of those where it's sectioned and the story is told in such a way with how he divided the 3 acts that, like you were saying, Sterling, I didn't know I didn't have it down to a timestamp like you, but I definitely felt like when I went back, just kind of section watching it, I was like, man, this views comfortably, even if you're taking breaks. It's not like if you take a break from it, you're going to come back and go, oh, I forgot everything or anything like that. Like, it feels like what you retain the first hour you watch or hour and a half or whatever it is, you'll be able to pick up the next day or in 2 days or something like that. And it won't feel like you are now lost or you like missed something. And I can't say that about every movie, but I think that this one flows in such a way it's allowable for you to be able to take breaks and things like that. So I will give the movie that. Which is weird if we have to suddenly start having conversations about, which movies are easy to break. But I don't know what kind of list that would make, but this is one of them. I feel like if your movie is made like this, you can get away with dissecting a little bit and you won't lose anything not watching it the entire way through.
I felt like this movie did that better than Oppenheimer did.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that would be a tougher movie to watch, like dissect.
And it's because of the nonlinear storytelling they do in Oppenheimer. This is straightforward.
Yeah. All the events line up. Yeah, I get what you're saying with that. So yeah, so there is that. Even if you may not have 3.5 of time to watch it. But if you've got 2 or 3 days to watch it, I would say make the effort. If you've got 2 days, get half in one day or do what Sterling's going to suggest. I can't wait to hear that suggestion and then get the rest in the next. I think it would be worth your time because the movie is that good. So, so with that being said, we're going to go, 95, and because I can't resist, here's the kid Jastin coming out. But we're going to go 95 paddlings from Uncle Robert De Niro out of 100.
Uncle Rob. Good old Uncle Rob.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to recommend a 3.5 hour long movie. That goes against the very core of my being.
You are a different Sterling. I'm convinced.
God,
you are not the same. You are a variant. Something is wrong. I'm going to alert the TVA. Like, who are you even?
I don't even know. That's the thing. It's like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Because, recommend the fuck out this movie. It's worth it. It really is. Like I said, stick around for spoilers. I'll do it first thing in spoilers. I'll tell you where to divide it into 2 movies. It makes it 2 very watchable, easy movies, and it's worth it. It really is. My issues with it, I do 100% agree with you, Jastin. Point of view should have been from Lily, or from Molly, the character of Molly. God, that would have been just chef's kiss perfect. But because Martin Scorsese just loves having corrupt as fuck white men as his main characters, I get it. At least he did not try to act like there was some good in their corruption.
Yeah, salvage their characters or something. Yeah,
he didn't. Yeah, at least we didn't go there. Which I was afraid. I was afraid, but
at the end of that movie, I thought they were going to give that redemption to Ernest, and then he just goes, "Fuck that." With a smile on his face. And then they went, fuck you. I was like, thank God. Oh, thank God. Because, I got nervous too, Jastin. I got nervous on that. So I'm glad they did not hold back from that. Thank God. And also, shout out to the fact that they also brought up the Tulsa Massacre.
Hell yeah. I was going to mention that later, but yes, that was tight. That was tight.
Also, great. And I loved the weird nuances of the times of, I know we racist as fuck, but the KKK is just bad. I love those weird distinctions that they have, in that like our racism's fine. The KKK's racism is just gross. But that's historically accurate. I do think that there's this weird, whitewashing of history of the Civil War. It's like, oh, the North was fighting to end slavery. like it was a weird anti-racist cause on their case. No, they wanted to end slavery, but they was still racist as fuck. Like, you can be racist and still think slavery is bad.
Yep.
Like, nobody, like, if anybody's being historically accurate, you're still not giving the North a complete pass, is all I'm saying. Because, you know, they would use some racial slurs while saying you don't need to be a slave. So, you know, and I like that this was accurate to it. I just like the fact that, you know, this movie didn't pull any punches. Now, where I think that this biggest misstep in this movie, aside from the point of view thing, is I do think, and I will talk about it in a little bit, is the end of the movie. Without getting specific, I think the end of the movie gets a little sloppy as they're wrapping up stuff. And that's where honestly, I think you could have shaved some time from this movie, is wrapping some of that up a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. They did not completely Lord of the Rings this shit, where it could have ended 97 times before those fucking credits hit. But there's a couple of times where maybe it could have ended. And then the actual ending, I think they could have done better. But, you know, you made me sit through 3 hours and 25 minutes of a movie. And when I'm going, man, you could have just wrapped this up a little better at the end. So that means I still sat through 3+ hours of a movie, not minding any of this shit going on. That's still a success, especially with my ass, who typically would want to tap out at 2 hours and 20 minutes. You took me an hour past my typical breaking point of a movie.
That is no small feat. So, yeah.
Oh, score-wise. Fuck. I'm splitting the difference, guys. 92. You know what? I'll round up 93, because splitting the difference would be a 92 and a half. So I'm going to split the difference and give it a 93, because we round up here. I'm going to give this 93. I concur, Heather. Lily Gladstone needs to win all the fucking awards. Out of 100. I can tell you right now, too, our Cinescore is a 93.
Go. So
that's fair. That's, you know, I guarantee, I think that's higher than Jastin thought it would be going into this, because I think just based on Jastin's reaction at the beginning of this, he thought I might be just going, like, the best I would give it would be a 70. If I was just like feeling everything, would be a 70. Nah, it's fucking good. Hey, good movie's a good movie. As Jastin likes to say, sometimes you got to let movies movie. And this movie the fuck out of me for 3 hours and 20 minutes. So, spoilers?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Spoilers.
Very funny, Jastin, that you mentioned in your score the paddling scene. Because right after the paddling scene, that scene ended there. That's the break point. That's like 3 hours that's like 1 hour, 25 minutes, 1.5 hours roughly in there. End it there. Just pause it there. You know, if you're doing if you're doing a 2-day watch, end it after that scene. End it after the Masonic Lodge paddling scene. And then do the rest of the movie. It works very well. And I know this because that's what I accidentally did. And it just worked. That was just the point I got to, and I'm like, all right, I need to stop it. Came back, watched the last 2 hours of the movie, and I'm like, fuck, that worked. I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I didn't feel like I stopped apart, like, abruptly, anything like that. Like, it was just a good natural conclusion point where you could go on. But I do agree with you, Jastin. There's a few of them in there. There really is. It's almost like on the hour. You can almost do it.
Yeah, but I like what you said, because I'm thinking about that point in the movie, and yeah, that is a pretty good stopping point, because Like so much had happened. The relationship had already been established by that time. You've seen some crime and corruption, but it's really where Ernest turns the corner with his shit, like intensifies after the paddling.
He
you know?
goes from being a scoundrel to a villain.
Yeah. That's just before he really turns the corner. So yeah, that is a good stopping point. I like what you said there, but you're right. I do think there are multiple places though. Maybe even a little further after that where he's having, which is a scene that I loved, where him and Lily Gladstone are having that conversation about the insulin, and he's the insulin, and he's really trying to pour on that, all of your beliefs and all of the witch doctory and all of that stuff is never going to save you. Like that argument there where they're going back and forth about that. And then and he's like, you know what? He tells the doctors, I'll administer it myself, and all that happens. And they sort of lay down after that. That's another nice place. That's about an hour 30 something in. That's another.
I think that's
nice
like 15 minutes.
place.
That would be 15 minutes after where I'm saying, like roughly.
Yeah,
that almost
yeah,
splits the movie
yeah.
directly in half.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think that was where I hit a half point with it, And then the second day I went. So it's just interesting that we landed almost in a similar place,
And it doesn't like, as long as you, for the most part, as long as you, when you stop it, as long as you stop at the end of a scene, you almost could do that at any point in this movie, honestly. And it wouldn't really break what this movie does. Because this movie is very just effective with how it tells the story. And I think that's what makes me so mad about it. Is this movie is damn near 3.5 hours long. And I'm like, if I butchered this movie to get it down to less of a runtime, but still be effective storytelling wise, I'd maybe shave 10 or 15 minutes off. Maybe. And at that point, fuck it. You might as well let it go 325 if you're only saving that much. At that point, what's the difference between 310 and 325? Really?
Yeah, true. And with Scorsese's movies too, he doesn't often tell a story like this. He likes to do a bunch of jumping back and forth and flashbacks and stuff like that,
Or telling it as a memory.
Yeah, or telling it as a memory. So there's that jumping back. He didn't really do that this time, which is interesting, for how long it was. And he normally will do that, but you could just tell that he really wanted to nail sequentially what was happening.
And also, one thing that Scorsese does a lot is he typically has narration.
Yeah.
There's no narration in this movie. If there is, it's at the very beginning, but there's not really a running narrator.
I feel like it changes viewpoints. Like it has a few different points where somebody's kind of doing a voiceover thing during certain situations. Yeah. But it's not consistent.
But it's not a running narrator like he typically does.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. There is some voiceover scenes. You are correct in that. But it's not the running narrator of essentially the point of view of a storyteller.
Which is why I thought it was going to be Molly, and it should have been, but that's fine.
No, you are right. There is some voiceover scenes, kind of when he monologues some stuff, or it's like somebody telling somebody the plan, and it shows the plan while they're saying it. They do stuff like that in this movie, but he typically does a point of view narrator narrating the story, like they are telling you the story.
Yeah.
And he does not do that in this.
I did want to give you a quick update that I found out. Golden Globe noms came out. Best Actress nom. Not supporting.
Fucking God. The
Best
Golden Globes are doing something fucking right for once in their miserable existence.
That's tight.
The only other one that I'm just like, ooh, on is, well, actually, no, Lily Gladstone needs it either way, but I like also that they put Greta Lee from Past Lives in there, but I still think Lily Gladstone should win everything ever. So
I was going to bring it up later. That's still my favorite movie this year.
Past Lives, yeah, that's close up there for me
Past
too.
Lives was awesome.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I like Killers of the Flower Moon, but Past Lives was still really good, I won't fight you on it.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge that Past Lives is really fucking good, though. But you know what I mean? Like, that's still where I'm at, though. Past Lives is still it for me. That's where it was. I was going to talk about that later when I said that earlier. I was talking about Past Lives.
Yeah.
You know.
But, that makes me happy. And I mean, I know it's not the Oscars yet, but at least Golden Globes got it right. And they gave her a Best Actress nom and not a Supporting Actress nom.
Eyes are on you now, Academy Awards. Don't fuck it up.
For real.
Golden Globes
please
did
don't.
it right. Don't fuck it up. But I'm going to do Jastin's favorite thing. We're going to talk about the end real quick. I did not like it going to that radio play at the very end of the movie. To wrap it all up, I did not like that.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all. I think if you're going to do a narrator point of view at that point, do it then. Have Lily Gladstone tell you the story of how everything ended. You know, while showing it. Show Robert De Niro's character dying in a nursing home while Lily Gladstone's character, while Molly narrates it. I would have preferred that over going to that thing. You can have her be like, and I died in 1937, you know, like, or you know what I mean? Like, do that. I would have preferred that over the random radio play at the end.
I think I agree. I like what he did, but because, or at least I like it better than there just being a black screen and you reading text about all of this, which is like what we typically get in a movie like this. It just kind of wraps everything up with text and stuff. But I liked your idea. I liked what they did, but I think the change I would have made is I would have made the character, the actor that played the character should have been the one up there saying what happened to themselves.
If you had
like
done
if
that,
it was
okay.
Robert De Niro, up there saying
That would have been good.
you know, I died in a nursing home. You know, I still went on to flaunt around about how I, you know, did this and did that, and how what happened to me wasn't really, you know, what happened to me was an injustice. But ultimately, I just died in a nursing home, and then the light goes out on him. And then maybe all of a sudden the light's back on and Leonardo DiCaprio walks out there. And then he talks about how I got out on bail. And then I just died
in a trailer park.
Died of natural causes in a trailer park. And then the light goes out on him. And then maybe finally it's Lily, like you said, and she gives what happened to her. That's what he should have done.
Yes.
Though I loved him at the end, though I did feel something when Martin got up there at the end and there's damn near tears in his eyes and he's like, nothing was said about these murders. And boy, it looked like he was about to go. Like it looked like that fool was about to start crying at the fact that like nothing was said about everything that she went through, you know? So that was powerful, but I wonder if it'd have been more powerful if it was Lily saying it though, and saying, nothing was ever said about the murders of my sisters. And it's
and then
just
you just
her
have a
up
spotlight
there.
on
Especially,
her.
what I like about your change to it, Jastin, outside of you saying the radio play and the characters, I like how you have them tell it in the first person. I liked you saying that. That to me makes it better. This is what they said about me. And like, you know, nobody said anything about the murders. Nobody said what happened to me. That's what I think makes it more powerful. If the characters are saying it in the first person in that radio play type of scene.
Yeah.
And when I was saying the end gets sloppy, though, also those last few scenes before that, when it's in the jail stuff, when it's like in the jail cells and kind of going back and forth a little bit, it gets a little sloppy in that section. That's what I was talking about, it getting sloppy towards the end. And I think it was just because they were getting to the point, knock these scenes out, get to the end. I just think that they weren't as meticulous with those last couple of scenes before the radio play as they were for the rest of the movie. But that's nitpicky shit, you know? And when I'm talking about deleting some scenes here and there, I'm talking about very few. One thing that in most movies I would have slashed left and right were the transition scenes. This movie has a ton of just transition scenes. I wouldn't cut a single one of those. They're beautifully shot. They do deal with the narrative. Even if there's no words, no dialogue, no nothing, it's still dealing with the narrative. And they're beautifully shot. And honestly, if you cut all those out, you're only going to save maybe 4 minutes off the entire runtime because they're like 20 seconds each. And if that's the case, yes, keep them all because they're definitely worth it. You know? Like that's... You know, I feel bad. You know, I doubted Martin Scorsese after The Irishman. I was kind of not feeling him whenever with the fucking Wolf of Wall Street. I thought Wolf of Wall Street, I thought he played it a little too loose with the corruption part. Because the character's corrupt, sure. But did he not make it look glamorous as fuck? To where the real life guy afterwards got famous. Because of how glamorous Martin made it. So I thought he took a misstep with that. The movie's, you know, it's a good movie. I'm not really not, but you know what I mean? But he missed really going, this was dirty, grimy bullshit. Don't do it. He missed the mark with that in Wolf of Wall Street. That's what made me nervous in this movie. That like, because of how he missed it in that, I was like, oh no, he's going to drop the ball at this. And he didn't. And then I will give him credit for what you were saying, Jastin, at the end of the movie, when he reads that, and he does look like he's about to burst into tears because of it, it helps seal the message he was saying. It helps seal the deal when he's like, no, these white people were fucking terrible. They were fucking monsters. And what happened to these people is a gross miscarriage of justice that our country needs to rectify. So kudos, Martin Scorsese. That is really all I have to say, negative wise or spoiler wise, really about this movie. There's not really anything to spoil about this movie. It's just a narrative. It's not, there's no big twist. There's nothing, there's not anything to spoil because it's not that type of story. It's an effectively made movie. It's an effectively told story. It's an incredibly acted movie. If anybody remembers Netflix's Daredevil, the guy that played Foggy Nelson in that, also played one of the Bash brothers in the Mighty Ducks movies. He's in this movie. I don't think he says a single fucking line, but he is just a guy in town. And yeah, he's in this movie. I do want to comment. There's a lot of people that have complained about Brendan Fraser's acting in this movie. About how over the top and intense, you know what I mean? It was just so just intense right away and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. He was the theatrical miscarriage of justice defense attorney.
Yeah, he was the showman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Perry Mason, or he was fucking, what's his name? Not Perry Mason. The one that Andy Griffith played.
Matlock.
Yes. He's Matlock turned up to 11, but evil.
Yeah. I thought it was great. Yeah.
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 When I saw that scene, I was like, oh yeah. Do you not want to see a spin-off movie of the actual just trial? Watching John Lithgow and Brendan Fraser actually have a fucking trial?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
Oh, Oh, that's a dream movie right there. And I didn't even know I needed that movie until this one. But yeah, like, I thought Brendan Fraser was great. Coming in as that foghorn, leghorn, fucking Southern lawyer. Just loud and theatrical. And, oh, miscarriage of justice. How could I possibly? I need, Oh, I loved that. He was chewing up scenery, but never overacting in the slightest. He got up to the edge of it. But that's the point. Oh, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, he was great.
Fuck, I am so glad that man is acting again.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. I'm tapped now. Heather, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, I did not remember that, or maybe I didn't even know that Brendan Fraser was in this movie at all. So that was kind of a fun surprise. And I did enjoy that. I thought it was great. Like, I feel like right away you understand who his character is supposed to be and why he's being that way. It's pretty clear. And you're just kind of like, oh no, I'm not going to like this guy. He's going to be a little bit just trying to do his own thing, kind of like the salesman of law or something like that, And he was great. I thought he did a great job. I mean, that's the one where I said, like, maybe utilizing him more because he's only in it for a whole 3 minutes.
Oh, same with John Lithgow. Same with Jesse Plemons.
True.
Like,
yeah, Jesse Plemons. Yeah.
Oh, that guy that played the indigenous detective guy also.
Yep.
He doesn't do much, but when he's just in the background of those scenes, does he not have like a certain like je ne sais quoi to him?
He has a presence. Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe we need that movie too. Like the Bureau of Indian Affairs. I don't like that name. That's just officially what they were called. Movie.
Yeah.
With them like solving like indigenous crimes.
Right.
Like, do you not like him and Jesse Plemons as a weird buddy cop movie doing that shit?
I would be down for that.
Great too.
Yeah.
There are so many spinoffs that this movie just dictates.
Right. Yeah. Like, and Jesse Plemons, I mean, he always delivers. I think he's great all the time, but I feel like he weirdly always plays a cop now though. Like, I feel like he plays a cop in like half the things he's in, but it works somehow. It just works. But yeah, he was great too. And he was in it more than the other supporting people in this movie, but not by much. You could still use more of him in this movie, Yeah, but I think something that was interesting to me about Leonardo DiCaprio's performance here that I actually particularly liked for it is he plays this. I feel like I haven't really seen him play specifically this version of a character before where he's very much on the outside around everybody else. He's trying to pretend like he's this very independent, very like confident guy and take charge and like making decisions for himself. And to the point where he actually, you could tell he's like trying to also make himself believe that about himself, but in reality, and from what we see, I mean, he's just kind of a puppet. He's kind of a puppet to his uncle. And you know what I mean? And like, just, you do see the like dilemma that he has in certain decisions that he's making. But ultimately, you also just see that he's just being controlled by everything and everybody else around him. And I actually think it was a really great portrayal because it is that like you 100% know that in his head, he's not even thinking that he's that guy. He's just thinking like, he's justifying everything he's doing. And he's making up in his mind that like, no, I'm doing it for the good. And I did the right thing. And I did it for this and whatever else. And like, just trying to explain away any decision that he's made for a lot of this, it feels like, but he's struggling. You could see the scenes where it shows him struggling with the decisions he's making. And you just see that he is just being manipulated and controlled by Robert De Niro's character. And it's a really great performance. I thought it was really well done and just an interesting way to show like essentially our main character of this whole movie, aside from Lily Gladstone's character, you're essentially, that's the type of guy that he is, like usually your main character, you're supposed to feel like you're rooting for them more, like they're more of a protagonist type. He's not really. He's not a good guy at all. Like And they also do a good job of making you think that he might be at the first, that maybe he is actually a decent dude. And to be fair, for me, I didn't know anything about this actual story before this, so I didn't know who his character was. So for me, I'm like, maybe he's going to be that guy that's like the one guy they can trust that's, you know, coming in that's not part of this culture. And for a good, you know, half hour, they make you think maybe that's true. And then you're just like, nope, not even a little bit. And it's just, you know, and just the amount of just pain that he also puts Molly's character through. And you're just like, ugh, I hate him. I just hate this guy, you know, because, and just the really interesting and natural and very human way that Molly reacts to him when she could have been angry and outraged and like yelling and all these things. And all she's doing is being very like meek and very just like disappointed. She gives this air of disappointment and hurt more than she gives of like, you're the worst and I hate you, you know, when she had every right to kind of be like that. You could tell she always sort of had like a trust issue there because, you know, she'd even be like, do you know if this guy was killed or if he killed himself? You know what I mean? And yeah, so it was just one of those where they just really form her character well because, you know, she's trying, she wants to believe her husband, but she also doesn't really fully trust him. And so it's just a really interesting dynamic to see played out on screen in different moments, depending on the situation and how she wants to either lean into him or she doesn't want to lean into him. And I just really like that because I feel like that's very realistic, you know, especially for what was actually happening to her people, you know, and I just really loved that. And I thought her subtleties and the subtleness of her performance in certain moments was really, really well done. And she was very smart about how she chose to do certain things. So yeah, it's just an unbelievable performance, but also Leonardo DiCaprio, I think he was unbelievable as well. Like he kind of always delivers, but you know, he was definitely more that over the top performance. He was more of that like emotionally charged performance, if you will. And it worked, you know, and it was good. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I feel like all of these characters were just so like well fleshed out because of who was playing them. And it just really, you know, it just really worked well. And, you know, I also do like the stylistic choice too of like how they, like whenever one of the people of Osage died and you just kind of see them in bed and they're on their deathbed, basically. I thought that was a really haunting thing to see. That was really powerful to show because it just shows you the very bleak nature of what was happening to these people. And I just love how they showed that. And they showed it every time. And they showed it with children and women and older people and young men and whoever.
They also showed it with her sister that died in the bomb. Whenever they found her body,
yes,
they still made it look like her body on a deathbed.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they lifted her up and the back of her skull is just shattered.
Yeah.
But I loved it. To go with what you were saying, Heather, they still did that in that scene too.
Yep.
And that was really impactful. Because at first I was like, why does it look like a deathbed? And like, it was just one of those things. It's like, it's great imagery. It's very powerful. It's smart. It's well done.
Yeah. Imagery. That is the word I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And like, those are the moments when like you feel the impact of what the story is trying to say. And I thought it was placed well. It was done at just the right moments, you know, and I just really appreciated how they did that and how they were thoughtful and took care to show that and make that point in this movie. So yeah, I think you're kind of right, Sterling. There's not a whole lot to really necessarily spoil about the movie. It's just one of those where you got to watch it play out. The scenes where Molly is just near death because of these stupid shots that whatever, I don't even remember what they put in with the insulin that she was being given, but I'm like, those moments I was like, oh, it made me ache watching it because she just looked like she was about to drop dead at any given moment with just how sick she was, and then even just that jab or that moment for the audience when Ernest says to her, like, see, you look great, this insulin, it worked, you had to get worse before it got better, really trying to manipulate her and make himself feel like, oh, he just didn't do this worst thing in the world to her, and make her be like, see, but on the other side of it, you're fine. You're totally fine. And you look great. And just seeing those slow little like jabs and like pricks of just terribleness that he gives to you every now and then that just sort of start to add up. And it was really clever to do it that way because it's almost one of those where, because he is so convinced in his mind for so long, it feels like that he is just not, doing anything wrong, it feels like, or he just doesn't want to take responsibility for him doing anything wrong, that you just see that he's just trying to convince himself about that with stuff like that. Like, see, I told you you'd be fine. And, and then it just kind of all crumbles so quickly. So yeah, I think it was just really a great way to show just sort of the kind of decomposition of his character too, and how his reputation is deteriorating and the trust that she has in him is being slowly more broken because at no point did she not think he had something to do with that. So it just feels like she wasn't saying anything and she had her reasons and she was kind of slow playing it to kind of feel things out. But you could tell that there were things with her where she just didn't really fully trust him for whatever reason that may be. So I don't know. I just, the little subtleties that they do in this story with these characters is so brilliant, and it really adds to the storytelling aspect of this. So yeah, that's all I got.
Jastin, the connoisseur of the long movie, at least on this podcast. I mean, I was just going to say, bring it home.
Got it. I feel like right from the outset, you get kind of the impression that Ernest Burkhardt, he was coming back from war. He was injured. So he's back just trying to patch his life back together. And, maybe he could have been a good person. Maybe he wouldn't have necessarily chosen this life path, or, who knows, but it just seemed like from the outset, the moment that he got with his uncle and William Hale is explaining to him the way things work, it just seemed like everything was centered around screwing these indigenous people that were rich, somehow infiltrating them, somehow making money off of them, somehow capitalizing on their wealth, somehow befriending them or pretending like it was just right away. His uncle was trying to acclimate him to the culture of just basically blood sucking, these people. And I love like the Tulsa, how they were, how there was kind of like this Tulsa comparison. And I'm not saying that what happened in Tulsa is necessarily equal to what happened here. I'm not going to try to say they're the same, but there are parallels where you essentially have these successful people of color, and then you have these white people infiltrating and destroying that in some sort of way. Now, granted, for lack of a better term, they were a little nicer in their methods here, where you're befriending, you're marrying, you're manipulating, you're doing all these things to appear like you're on the up and up. But really, there is just this whole operation designed to steal from you, whether it's the doctors, whether it's the husbands that you're marrying, whether it's the bankers and the people telling you how much money they're going to allow you to take out and where you're going with the money and how much are you going to use for this, or your mom sure did use a lot to go to the grocery store. I mean, everything was set up to keep track of these people, to keep records of their money, to manipulate their money, and basically control them. Give them the illusion that they were in control, but really, me and my network of white people are controlling everything.
Well, and it's the methodical nature of, we're going to take this money, and we're going to kill you one by one as we do it. So that way, the money transfer part will be legal. They were weirdly concerned about making sure the money transfer part and the rights and all the money was legal, while they did all the illegal shit to then, once that happened, to get it.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah. And I hadn't even got to the killing part yet, but you're exactly right. That's how it all fits together. Like, so you're doing all of this stuff. You've got this whole network set up to track to all of this stuff. And then you're killing them one by one. And I mean, just the level of infiltration, like when you look at William Hell and who he was as a person, like, you got to think about this, man. He learned these people's language. Like, they learned their language. He could speak their language. He knew about their culture and their traditions and everything like that, so that he could easier manipulate them.
Well, take it one step further. There's a scene in this movie where the tribe is talking about how the white men are there to kill and steal from them. But he is so infiltrated into them and their culture, he's sitting in on the meeting as like a part of them.
Yes. And he's
which was
sitting
a great
there,
scene, by the way.
Yes. Like how he's a part of them, like he's a wise man, a confidant, somebody who they can rely upon for decision making and everything like that.
Yeah. He was like the ambassador to the white people that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they weren't afraid to say, white people trying to steal from us. Right. And he'd be like, yeah, they are, man. And he'd be like, see,
Yeah.
Our white guy says it so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our trusted white guy is agreeing with us. Yeah.
But he was that infiltrated in. That scene right there is one of my favorite scenes, just because it shows all the points you were saying, like amplified, that he is that inducted into what they do.
But also, like, that scene is, what I love about that scene is the guy who, I don't remember his name, but the main guy who was basically monologuing during that was so believable and just so real. Like, you just feel like he's just a real everyday person that, that's just his life, everyday life, living that. And like, he was just such a phenomenal performance in that moment.
Yeah, I was going to give him a shout out too. Yancey Reed Corn, who played Chief Bonnicastle. You're talking about him, right?
Yeah.
Who was doing all the speaking and saying, yeah, when, if it was up to us, we would just kill these people, but we don't know. Man, he was great, man. There were a few scenes with that council, and he nailed it on every one of them. And I loved him. I was like, man, dude, this guy, I could listen to him talk about this kind of stuff for 2 or 3 hours. I could just listen to him talk about this because he sounded so intelligent and proud and everything like that. And that's why, you just wish more and more that more of this story was from the indigenous people's perspective, because boy, they really seem to have a voice and meaning, and you just wanted more of them. You just felt like whenever you didn't didn't hear from them or didn't hear their voice, you just felt like it was missing, when you didn't hear it. As entertaining as the movie was, but yeah, he was great, and he was another gem in this movie as far as his acting and everything. He was excellent. But yeah, just you're looking at that level of corruption with this. And that's the thing. It wasn't, it would be enough if it was just the killing, but just the lengths that these people were going through. I mean, and so when these people are being killed, you have doctors manipulating the bodies so that it's harder to track and trace what's happening. You have doctors helping to deliver drugs that we can administer to people so that we can keep them bedridden or keep them sick or keep them, like, just the level of what was being done to these people. You've got the ambassador calling himself a reverend and going around praying, and on one end he's building like a dance school and doing all this community stuff. He's like putting on that facade, spending his money on stuff like that to keep up this facade. But the whole time he's like controlling these people, even when it didn't seem like it. Like, it was just crazy, the lengths that they were going through to control and manipulate these rich indigenous people. And like, man, it just makes you angry when you see what was happening. And like, when you look at Molly and what she must have been going through, she had so many family members, a mother, her sisters, father, and just to see them dying one by one. And it's not like, oh, could this one have died of natural causes? Could this one? I mean, sisters getting shot just straight up in the head, just blown away. And then, just one person dying after another. And then the person that you have married, the person that you are giving your trust to, the person that you have feelings for and you feel like you love, is the one causing it. Like, is the one helping. He's the one putting these things in motion. And man, what that must have done to her psychologically, I can't even begin to imagine. And then you're having children with this person. Like, my goodness, man, my goodness. Like, and the fact that she had to go through all of this, they go to jail, everything like that. Then to have to restart your life and remarry and live with no family members, like, I can't forget she had they had a kid die too. Like, my goodness, man. Like, that's why this deserved to be her story. Like, a lot of it is, but even more so for what this woman went through. This was just horrific. I don't even know if I would have made it. I don't even know if I would have had the strength to try and start over with another marriage and somebody else and somehow made it out of this without being killed herself. That in and of itself is a miracle, just given everything that was happening and just how on a whim people were being killed in her family and everything like that. So it really is just amazing that this all happened to someone, that this all happened to someone and their family and everything like that. So that just is not lost on me. And back to DiCaprio for a little bit. But yeah, I love what you said about him earlier, Heather, where you're just seeing how he's getting deeper and deeper into this. And some of those things his uncle was telling him, it's like, oh yeah, they got head rights. Okay, yeah, there's money in them. Okay, cool. And you don't feel that at the beginning he's really brought in. He's just kind of seeing Molly and they kind of take a liking to each other and everything. You didn't feel like all of it was just, oh, I'm going to do this so I can infiltrate, but it did feel like at some point, as he got deeper into everything and the uncle became more controlling and everything like that, it did become that. And like you said, him sort of believing that the money was already his, and how sometimes he would talk like, you're making me spend all my money. And then I remember that person, that the funeral, the casket guy going, this is not your money, man. Like, this isn't your money. This is this is Molly's money. I know you think it's yours, but, and now I'm feeling like, was that delusion talking, or is that him looking forward to the future, knowing, it is going to be mine?
I think it's a little both, and also combined in privilege.
Yeah. And it's that privilege shit. Yeah. Coming to the forefront. Yeah, exactly. So it's like a little bit of all of that all rolled in there. And it kind of just shows how white people have worked for so long. It's the taking, it's the
colonizing,
the entitlement.
It's
the colonizing, it's the entitlement. It's
the
like
genociding.
All of that. Yep, the genociding is just all of that rolled up into one. And it's crazy because, like, when William Hale or Robert De Niro or whatever is watching the video and they're talking about Tulsa, and it's like, look, they bombed them and stuff, and this is everything that was left. Like, he's not sitting there having any kind of remorse. This fool, it gave him an idea. It was like, man, I could blow up some motherfuckers.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, it's
just damn,
and it's one of those stark contrasts too. Of like, I'm watching it, going, thinking of what it is. Like, it's a massacre. It's a horrendous time in American history. It's all of these things, and he's going, goals.
Yeah. He's just sitting there going, oh damn, I can blow up people.
I've got things to look forward to now.
Yeah, I could do this? You mean to tell me I've been putting in all this hard work and I could do it this way?
I've been killing motherfuckers one at a time. I can just annihilate them all at once.
Like, yeah, this fool is sitting in here brainstorming game plans and stuff for his how the next mission is going to go. So yeah, all of that was just like amazing, just how relentless he depicted them and how shameless he depicted them and just how cutthroat they were. So all of that was great. And then when it all is kind of fallen down and everything is happening. How William Hale, also that conversation they had where De Niro's in the car and Leo's kind of hanging on the outside of the window, and he's like, "Hey, you got to sign this, man. You got to sign over this money in case something happens to you." And Leo's like, "Well, what's going to happen to me? What are you talking about, man? What's going to happen to me?" Ernest is all like, "What's going to happen to me?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, nothing's going to happen, man, but we really need you to sign this, Come on, Ernest, we need you to sign this, man. We need to keep this money in the family and everything." And just how it almost didn't matter who it was. The money was just more important. His own selfish desires was just more important than anyone. Even when it was over, it really wasn't over for him. He was just trying to make deals and get with it.
Well, Ernest's kid died, and he still didn't fucking change. And he was genuinely heartbroken about it.
Yeah,
the kid wasn't a part of the mission. The kid was something he truly loved, and still went, "Nah, that insulin, baby."
Yeah.
I mean, even that part too, where he obviously set up the murder of that one guy that I think she was married to first, and then
Henry,
ooh, yes,
loved that guy too. Fucking
he was great.
Guy too.
Yeah,
he was great.
Yeah, and just even that whole thing of how she keeps asking him, "Do you know what happened?" And he's like, "No, I don't know." And then cut to the next scene, and he's freaking out with his uncle, and he's just like, "I swear I told him to do it from the front of the head. I swear on my kids' lives." Just the amount of control that his uncle had over him because of how freaked out that he was. It was just really, it was interesting to see.
Well, on top of that too, goes back to what I was saying earlier, that weird dichotomy that these people would have and stuff. And when Robert De Niro's character is like, "Don't swear on your kids' lives."
Yeah.
That's terrible.
But kill your wife. Yeah.
Murder your wife, their mother. But we don't want anything to happen to these dear sweet baby angels.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that scene too, at the end of the movie when the kid dies. Ernest's character, heartbroken. Robert De Niro's character is heartbroken too. It's the mindset, the mental gymnastics that people were going through back in the day to maintain their racism, but also sometimes not.
Yeah.
The fluctuating morals or whatever that they had.
Yeah. And for William Hale, it's almost like, what is the means to the end? Because I remember whenever Ernest said, "Hey, me and Molly are pregnant," and he makes that announcement. And because that was something that William Hale wasn't anticipating, and now things kind of getting rocky because, you having kids, and then that kind of makes the inheritance situation a little rocky. That look on De Niro's face whenever they made that announcement and everybody is clapping and going, yeah, congratulations. And he's like, "That's great. Yeah. That's great." But Robert De Niro, this is why he is so good, because
wait, before you finish that, I want to just admit something. I had forgotten how good that fucking guy is.
Yeah.
He's done all this Bad Grandpa, Meet the Fockers, having a fucking claymation face in The Irishman. I had forgotten how good of a fucking actor that guy can still be. Don't get me wrong. I remembered how good he was. I didn't think he had that dog in him, though.
Well, he was barking, though, on this. And
I feel like Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro made this movie their personal mission to tell me how fucking wrong I am about them.
They may have, bro, because He didn't have no CGI here. But boy, you want to talk about somebody. He's already acting. So he's pretending to be excited about a baby that he is not excited about, but still was acting in a way to where you could tell that he could not he could not make a face that didn't say he wasn't excited about that child.
Yep.
Like, I hope I said that right.
He acted acting whilst also acting. Like,
yeah,
he did an acting triple dip.
He did. It's like a triple layered thing he was doing there, because he's acting like caring, but he's also has to act in a way to where you can tell that he cannot fully pretend that he wants that child to be born. It's the hardest thing for me to explain, but as hard as it is for me to explain, but as hard as it is for me to explain in words, that motherfucker did it and nailed it.
Yeah.
And absolutely nailed it. And I was like, oh my God, he is seething. Like, you could practically see like the steam coming out of his head. Like what the hell is my nephew doing having a kid like this at this time? And it was all on his face over a layer of him trying to pretend he was happy about it. Like, it was excellent, just excellent shit, man. Like, it is all I can say. So that was just another standout scene from me, from Robert De Niro.
To all the cinefans out there, and to my fellow cinema slayers and moviegoers out there, you know, in general, you're welcome. Because like I said, I think they made this their personal mission to say, fuck you, Sterling. And we are all the better for it.
Yes.
Because it feels personal.
The self-awareness, yeah.
Because I could tell when I started my little thing, because I was wording that specifically to make people think I was going to come in and be oh so contrarian and just bomb this movie. Because that is almost expected out of me with this. And I watched this movie, and I will admit, I watched this movie going, I'm going to fucking hate this movie. Because it's pretentious, it's long, it's just old hat bullshit. Like, it's the old guard trying to hold on to something they need to let go of. Just cinema masterpiece. Fuck me. Just fuck me right in the eye.
Man, well, I'm not going to follow that with anything. I think I'm done. I mean, this is just it. And like you guys said, it's hard to spoil anything. Of course, we could sit here for another hour and talk about events and things that happened and and how horrible the killings were and all this other stuff, but like scene transitions that were well done in this. But I mean, really, it's one of those, you have to see it to believe that these words we are speaking are correct, you know?
Yeah, you just need to go watch this shit. It'll be on Apple TV Plus at some point. If you have iTunes, you can just go and buy it. That's what I did. But yeah, you need to see this movie. If you claim to be like a movie lover, even if you don't think that this movie's going to be your cup of tea, you should watch it.
Give it a shot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It might change your mind. This movie might change your mind on what you think your type of movie is. Because it's that damn good. Friend of the podcast, Alejandro, was like, I've watched this 3 times. I can't wait to watch it again. And I was like, bullshit. I'm going to hate watching this movie once. Now, I still don't agree about the whole watching it 3 times. I need to watch it a 4th. But I was wrong. I'll admit it, I was wrong. I was hella wrong. I wasn't even just kind of wrong. I was hella fucking wrong.
Man, that's 12 hours and some change. If he watches it 4 times, that's more than half a day.
That's about as much time as I spent watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, though, the Snyder cut, because I watched it like 3 times just trying to figure out why the fuck anyone liked it. I just kept watching it going, what the fuck am I missing? And I'd never figured it out. Just never did.
Oh, man.
Oh, fuck me. I'm fucking stupid half this damn time. Why do I do that? Why do I go, I hate long movies and I don't like this shit, and I just keep watching it over and over again to just see if I miss something? Because everybody's just loving it.
What is it? You're a sadist or you're a
masochist?
What is it? Masochist. That's the one I'm looking for.
Oh, my fucking iTunes reads as a fucking masochist. You know what fucking movie I bought a couple of weeks ago and watched? Ghosts of Mars.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh.
You want to know what's really fucked up about that? I kind of dug watching it.
Yeah, there's something about you, and you just.
And it's because
people just.
I must hate myself a little bit because I enjoyed watching Ghosts of Mars. Do you know who has gotten way better at acting than they used to be? Ice Cube. Because he's fucking terrible in that movie. He's not that
Flash
bad
forward
no
to
more.
21 Jump Street. He's great.
Great. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like kind of wondering, like, I think it's because he was trying to be serious in Ghosts of Mars. You know, he was fine in Friday. But why? Like, he just was like, oh, I'm going to be serious. I'm going to be tough. I'm going to be emotional at times. That was my brother. That's about as emotional as he was when his brother died. That was my brother. But I'm not going to lie. The way that movie ends, when he's like, let's go kill some motherfuckers. I'm kind of sad there's not a Ghost of Mars 2. Because he ends it so fun. I was like, where the fuck was this fun ass character the whole rest of the movie? I do fucking hate myself. But you know what I don't hate? This movie. Don't hate it. That it? We done? Wrapping this up?
Yeah, another beautiful transition. Yeah.
Yes. Way to bring it back.
Fucking perfect. Swear to God, one of these days I might stumble on a transition, but you know what? Not today. On that note, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Cinema Slayers podcast. Check us out on the internet at www.cinemaslayers.com. Cinema Slayers podcast on Facebook, cinema_slayers on Threads and Instagram, at Cinema Slayers pod on both TikTok and YouTube. Shout out to Plug Migo and Mudo Cho for our theme song and logos respectively. Give us a 5-star rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. Really help us out. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your friends' family, tell your family's friends, and most of all, tell those dear sweet mothers, because dear sweet mothers love.
It's a twofer. Lily Gladstone and Brendan Fraser. It has to be. You cannot mention Brendan Fraser if he's in something. He's great.
I see no problems with what you said, Heather.
Okay.
Yeah.
We here at the Cinema Slayers podcast are pro slut, pro Sydney, and pro naked. And remember, you, yes, you cinefan out there, you are enough. And as I always end these podcasts, these TikToks, these YouTube videos, remember, according to Jastin, Moon Knight is a Best Picture winner.
Somebody will listen to me.
Nobody knows
If
anything
this
but
wins
you.
Best Picture, I ain't gonna be mad.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm actually kind of rooting for it to be.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
I didn't see all of the other options, but I did see Past Lives is another one that's nominated for that, at least at the Golden Globes.
Past Lives would be
I
my
hope that-
preference, but
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be
I
mad
hope
at this
that
movie.
Past Lives can
It's gotta get something.
win like something. Like maybe like
Best
is-
original screenplay?
Is that an adapted? Is that an original or
I think it's
adapted
an original
screenplay?
screenplay. Whatever.
That it would be nice.
I
for it to
hope
win
it's
that.
original because this is probably going to win Best Adapted.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, this is based on this was a book. So yeah. So hopefully original screenplay. I think that would be great. If it won Best Picture, I wouldn't be mad, but Past
fuck.
Lives should definitely
It's
win
based
something
on
for
a
the story.
play, I think.
Oh,
Fuck.
so they might be competing.
Okay, Flowery
Yeah.
Moon, let it win Best Adapted, and you just fucking win Best Picture. Fuck off. Just do the right thing.
The best picture ones right now are Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, The Zone of Interest.
Mhm.
At least for the dramas, that's what it is.
I think I
So
only
almost
haven't seen 3 of those. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the Maestro, the first one you said, the Anatomy of the Fall, and the last one you said.
Zone of Interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Where's
the 3,
Barbie in comedy?
yeah, Barbie's in comedy. Because Golden Globes, they do
Yeah.
comedy musical.
In that one, it is Air, American Fiction, Barbie, The Holdovers, May, December, and Poor Things.
Barbie should win,
Agree.
Yeah.
probably. I haven't
What if
seen
it's just
all
a
those.
Barbenheimer show, basically? Oppenheimer wins, Barbie
okay.
wins.
I know I have my issues with Oppenheimer, but let's be honest, it's not better than this.
No,
You know-
it's,
No.
I don't think it is at all.
I'll
'Cause that
set
movie
my
felt
bullshit
longer
aside.
than
It's
this
not better
one.
than, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That movie felt longer than this one, and this one's got
Yeah.
like 20 minutes on it.
Now, my thing is, though, if we're talking best actor, I mean, do we choose Cillian Murphy or do we do Leo DiCaprio here? I mean,
Leo.
yeah.
I-
I
I'm-
think I would probably choose Leo.
I was
think
pausing
he
because
just-
I was waiting for you guys to say something. To
Oh.
me, it's a no-brainer. It's Leo. Like
I
I,
think it
enjoyed
just, he
one of
did
those two
more
movies.
with it.
I enjoyed one of those two performances.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even trying to hate on Cillian Murphy.
That's hard for me.
Yeah.
Boiling down to it, Oppenheimer was not my style of movie.
I think it's
Oh.
just because, like, Cillian Murphy was good at playing Oppenheimer, but there was just more dynamic in the Leo performance, if that makes sense. So it just stands
He
out a little bit
did
more.
way more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he just did so much in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and still got outshined by fucking Lily.
Right.
And De Niro. I'm not gonna lie, De Niro too.
Yeah.
De Niro was tight.
Yeah. He was really
De Niro
good.
was great.
God, I really did not think he had that in him still. I did not, because The Irishman did not make me think he had it. It did not.
He had those Godfather vibes back. You know what I mean?
You just keep going back to the Irishman to throw some shade at it. Irishman
Dude,
catching
don't tell
hella
me.
strays.
Don't tell
You
me.
just keep.
You thought
on
he still had
throwing them
that dog
strays.
in him when he did The Irishman. You might disagree with me on the overall quality of the movie, but don't tell me that you thought he had a performance that just legitimately dominated like he does in this.
And as far as I'm concerned, he never left, dog. I like the Irishman. You know what I'm saying?
He never
I was
left.
on the Irishman.
He never left. Go watch Dirty Grandpa and tell me if he fucking left, Jastin.
Oh God. I'm just saying, don't call it a comeback, man.
Yes, call it a
That's what I'm
comeback.
saying.
Go watch Meet the Fockers 3 and tell me if he fucking left, Jastin.
Yuck. Okay, stop it.
You know what's odd is, or I guess surprising to me, is that Irishman has a higher tomato score than Killers of the Flower Moon.
The inherent
Bye.
flaw that is the Rotten Tomatoes.
Right. Yeah, but and it looks like
Jastin.
even audience score is a little higher. It's
All right,
weird.
Jastin, you liked Irishman. What's better?
Yeah. The killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to
it's-
prove I'm not even on my bullshit.
No, it's
Killers
yeah,
is better.
I-
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I like Killers. I did like Killers better than Irishman. But Irishman's good, but you're talking 2 or 3 points here though with me.
Yeah.
Like it's that close.
you talking like 70 damn points for me.
That's how you know this movie's good because I mean, that's
You
the comparison, and that was the last
give
Scorsese film.
another movie a whole ass passing grade with the amount of points difference between The Irishman and this for me.
Oh man,
Irishman
This
was
was
catching
just-
all these strays, man.
this was just such a good story, like the entire story. And to be fair, I didn't see The Irishman, but this story is just so good here.
Also, to be fair, Justin, these aren't strays. I'm fucking shooting at it. I'm hitting target.
Just
No
Unashamedly
strays
Yeah,
so.
to
you're
be
right.
found.
Yeah, we're past the strays at this point. Just putting the holes in it. Like
Justin, I'm doing that shit.
what's his
where-
name in The Godfather?
You know those movies where it's like they shoot a few times and they're like, "Ha, you missed," and I'm like, "Did I?" Irishman.
to bring the close up of the thing, and it's just perfectly all in the center.
Yeah, I just kept hitting that bullseye over and over again with my accuracy of what I'm fucking hitting.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear, if this was like next gen stats or something, it would be like every 35 minutes, Sterling is going to say some shit about The Irishman. That he hated it or something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it would be a next gen stat or something.
But it's not like I'm going tangential on this. I mean, it's a Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese film, the last one they did together. I mean, I'm not just randomly pulling something out of the hat. I'm not randomly like bringing up, I don't know, The Pope's Exorcist or some shit. I'm not bringing up random movie. It's directly tied to this. I don't know why I said Pope's
you'd be
Exorcist.
hella
I love
hating
that.
on Irishman, but it seems like, boy, whenever there's a moment to hate on The Irishman, you would take it. You're not gonna not
Justin,
take it.
Go to
Like-
Netflix when we hang up this call. Go to Netflix. Go to The Irishman and fast forward a little bit to Robert De Niro's CGI'd fucking face, and then just watch it move a little bit and tell me.
It just haunted your dreams, I think. Yeah.
And you said he moves like an 80-year-old man when he was beating up that guy.
Yes. I'm not even on some bullshit. That's just a factual statement. Because Robert De Niro was in his 70s or 80s, and so he was moving like his body moves.
I'm just saying, man, you just be hating on it. I'm just saying,
Jastin,
you be
they took
hating on
a
it.
rusted up pickup and just spray painted it a color and went, look, it's the new car.
Oh no.
It's just so much hate. It's just, I just feel like it's deep rooted.
Justin, that's not even hate. I just said facts.
That movie was a personal attack on him.
It was.
I know he just got so mad at it. He just hates it.
So much hate.
Like I said, Justin, just fast forward until you see a young Robert De Niro face and just hit play and tell me that those aren't the most unnatural movements on a young person ever. And it was a deeply flawed idea to film
feel like
that
I need
entire
to do
movie
this.
the way they filmed it.
I want to see this now. I bet you could look it up on YouTube and find that clip.
I'm saying go to the source.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
All right, I'm out of here.